and welcome to another episode of Never Onside. After a week of postponements, we are back, and European nights were, interesting as well. So, as usual, we are back, and we have Mayur with us. So, without much to do, let's start with our podcast. Yeah, so we'll go through a review of all the matches which happened in the Champions League. We'll start off with the Tuesday night matches in which Inter won 0-2 and Tottenham lost 2-0 to Sporting. It was a very impressive performance by Sporting, right?
Yes. So it reminded me of the Tuchel game plan against Spurs, if you remember, where they overloaded the two holding midfielders for Spurs, and the forward also dropped deep. They outnumbered them three versus two. So that was kind of the same tactic which the Sporting team went for, and they successfully again we saw how contest teams can be stopped. How and they exactly played as their plan, and they successfully came out with the result. So,
Yes.
any thoughts about Son's form currently? Many of the forums saying Son should be dropped, and Perisic is interfering within the Son area, which generally Son likes to operate.
Yeah, yeah. I think that sync between Perisic and Son is not there. Very similar kind of players in the sense that they attack from the left and move inside. And I've noted that a lot of the times Perisic don't pass to Son, and Son doesn't pass to Perisic, and like they both of them look for Kane most of the times. Yeah, so that is an issue, and I think Son is down in confidence. Something is troubling him. It looks like that because last season he had such a great season and he got won the Golden Boot. And this season, I think Perisic coming in has definitely hampered his performances. I wouldn't say like Conte should drop a Son, but he should tweak his system so that these guys don't overlap in the same positions because both play in a similar role. Like they would ideally play from the left to inside the penalty box. So that is an issue which is there, which I'm sure Conte will have to figure out. Speaking of Son, Richarlison has been impressive, right?
Yes, yes, he has
So
been quite
Richarlison,
impressive. Yes, coming into good areas, assisting Kane very well. So they just have been missing a bit of creativity, which Kulusevski might add to it. So yeah,
yeah,
Richardson, Kulusevski, and Kane, all three have been very good compared to Son this season.
yeah. If Son gets dropped or rested for one match in the Premier League, then Richa will start probably, and Kulusevski on the right. So that
Yeah.
is
So
something we'll
yeah.
keep an eye on because I doubt if Conte will drop Son altogether. Yeah, moving forward, Liverpool won 2-1 in the Wednesday, like the late night match. And this was a match in which Liverpool started really well. They scored initially, and then Ajax got back into the game, and then they were lucky to get away with all 3 points. Right, Matip's header in the end.
I wouldn't say lucky, but we saw a bit of the old Liverpool, which when they had Thiago in center, Matip in defense. So definitely, it was an improved performance if you look at the performance which they have been giving recently. Very dreadful.
Jota coming back
Yes,
is
Jota coming
also a
back as well.
big thing. He dropped into spaces between the lines and created a lot of problems. But this is not an imperious performance by Liverpool. But from their form right now, Klopp would have been happy that he got a win at the end, and that too, a win like that can kick off their season as well. Yeah. So Leverkusen won 2-0 against Atletico Madrid,
Yeah.
and Club Brugge won 4-0 against Porto, and Bayern versus Barcelona match was 2-0. I'm sure most of us would have watched that match, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. The game of the night,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we shall discuss it in a bit more detail once we
yeah,
go
yeah,
through
we will,
all
we
these
will,
games.
we will. Yeah. And in Thursday night matches, we had Napoli winning 3-0 against Rangers. Chelsea and Salzburg match was also one which we had a spotlight on, which will also come back in the later slides. And Real Madrid winning 2-0 against Leipzig.
Yeah.
And, you know,
So the Madrid game, just to add to the Madrid game, I still think they are clearly missing Benzema. They scored their goals in the 79th and 90th minute yesterday, and in the first half they didn't create many chances for
mm,
even for the first 75 minutes. Clearly missing Benzema. His link up play, he drops behind, links up, and enables Vinicius to run on that flank. So clearly missing that a lot. But shout out to Chouameni. He has been really impressive. I was always a bit dicey on his form since Casemiro left. Would he be able to fill those shoes? But the more I see Chouameni playing, the more I adore him. The way he likes to take the balls from opponents and just he's just a machine, and he has definitely impressed me. So Chouameni is a
yeah.
player to look out for.
Yeah, speaking of machines, Man City won 2-1 thanks to Norwegian Cyborg, as they call him. What was that? What was that goal? Like,
Freakish goal.
like Slatanish goal, I guess. He can do everything.
Everything.
Like
The
we are lost for
not just the
words.
goal, not just the goal, the assist too from Cancelo. What a ball it
Oh,
was.
outside of the
So
like,
when the ball came in, I thought, oh, what an assist! Surely he should score, and I thought he will go for a header. But then to see that and Haaland putting his foot so high, that's why we kept
yeah.
that as the initial picture of our podcast. So very impressed by that goal. And
I
overall,
don't think.
yes,
Yeah, I don't think like most of the strikers would reach that. Even I don't think the trajectory of the ball wasn't like that you can head it in. It was going outside on the far post. So he had to put his foot in. It's just his athleticism which got him there. And the first goal from Stones was also a brilliant goal. But uh, for me, I would expect the goalkeeper to at least put an
I
arm
agree.
and like at least touch the ball. He was clueless. He was standing like this, and then his hand was like this. So I was surprised. Maybe he wouldn't have seen the ball coming in
Taken
between the
aback from
defender.
the taken aback from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
distance which Stones tried to shoot from. But yeah,
yeah,
Dortmund played well in the first half. They were very compact,
yeah, yeah.
gave
They were
City a lot of tough time to figure their things out. And Grealish was very bad.
passive.
Yeah, didn't
Yeah,
have a single impression, I think.
he took a lot of time to shoot. Like he would do an inside cut, then again an inside cut. By that time, two defenders would be on him, and like I couldn't see him post a shot because it was all blocked by the defenders. And Dortmund were all over City in most of the 75 minutes. Like that was not a vintage City performance by any means, because they weren't winning back the balls until the first goal went in. Like the City first goal went in, that is when they kicked on. And like Pep knew it. Pep knew as soon as the Stones goal went in, Pep started celebrating. I wouldn't expect Pep to celebrate, but he did celebrate. He knew that they are done. Dortmund is done. So
That
he
was yeah, that was
yeah.
kind of a vintage Madrid performance. You get
Yeah.
dominated most of the game and you come out with winning goals. Yeah, so
75th minute, like that meme that is around for Madrid. Yeah.
yes.
So
Again, Sevilla, who has been struggling in La Liga as well, the struggle still continue, and again they are dropping more points. Yeah, so one team to look out for might be they might be planning a Europa League win. You never know. They love that competition, and they might be just planning to go into Europa directly. So you never know.
right. And PSG 1-3-1. This was what do they call him? Call them
Haifa,
MNM? MNM?
Haifa. I am not sure about the initial, but Haifa.
Messi,
Oh,
Neymar,
oh,
Mbappe, MNM,
M&M,
MNM. Yeah,
Yes,
they
yes,
call him vintage MNM
yes.
performance. Yeah, and all three scored. And Messi assisted Mbappe, Mbappe assisted Messi,
Yes.
I
And
guess.
Vitinha, Variety assisted Neymar.
Yeah, that was a gorgeous ball as well. Yeah, so Paris looks sorted.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Um,
say sorted. The first half wasn't a smooth sail, but yeah, they showed their quality against. less.
They conceded first, and then I think Mbappe scored, and then
Messi scored.
Paris had a lot of chances. Like they
Yes,
did have
yes.
a lot of chances. So let's see how they play against big sides.
Napoli will be a good test. Not Napoli,
Yes.
Benfica will be
Mm,
a good test. Sorry.
mm,
Moving on to
yeah.
saying about Benfica. Benfica won their game against Juventus. Again, surprising. Juventus losing, scored the first goal, a brilliant header from them, and then they went on to concede two goals. So Allegri not looking very good at like in his position. Surely needs to work on. There were quite a lot of people saying he needs to be sacked. So
Mm,
let's see. I'm not sure how things go, but yeah, Juventus not looking the best at the moment and risking maybe Europa again, exit to Europa League. And
okay.
the Champions League game ended with Shakhtar Donetsk and Celtic drawing the game 1-1. So let's move on to the Barca Bayern game. So,
Yes.
host, did you watch the game?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I had two screens on. I watched this match. I was so impressed with the first half performance from Barcelona. I was thinking Mayur would be so happy now. Like, and you should have scored three goals,
Yes.
three easy goals. You should have scored. I had my one eye on the Liverpool match as well, and yeah. So yeah, take us through what happened because you would have been really disappointed.
So to sum up the first half, I would say Xavi was very brave. He went for a man-to-man marking. So in this picture also you can see clearly how all the players, Rafinha is standing here. It's Gavi who is pushing the other centre back, Lewandowski in the center, Pedri here, and this is Busquets. Busquets has come up again. So you can
Mm,
clearly see the tactic in the first half was to press as high as possible. Don't give Bayern time. So how Bayern likes to play is they generally like to play from the center and attack from the center. So Xavi always wanted to cut off those pass from back itself. Whilst how Nagelsmann's setup was, he allowed Barca to build up their game in the first phase. He let Barca's centre backs have the ball. Sergio Busquets have the ball. He only tried to attack when they tried to when Barca tried to come out of their half. So that was Nagelsmann's technique, while Barca were pushing and trying to get ball off from the defenders itself. So what happened was there was no control technically, if you would see throughout the whole game, and which meant the position kept on changing, and all the major chances which came to Barca's end were all from possession change, as in the whole team pressed and they got the ball and then they made a turnover and that's how the chance went. So what happened is, due to this, there was a lot of fatigue, and you could clearly see Pedri being fatigued in the second half, right? So that is the whole first half scenario. Barca tried to press high; they weren't able to go through the center part of the Bayern team. Bayern also were successful in keeping Barca out, but all the chances which fell to Barca were from transitions. So definitely, as you said, we should have taken. If not Lewandowski, I am not sure who can score those goals. I had too much
mm,
expectations,
mm, mm.
but again, not Lewandowski, then who? But yeah, and in the second half, the pressure, as I said, fatigue came on. We saw the pressure being lessened as the time went on, and Bayern were given too much time to play through, and that's when they realized, and Nagelsmann made a minor tick. So initially, in the second picture, if you can see, on the right hand side there is Sane, there is Davis, and this is Musiala. So they tried to attack the right hand side or the wings, basically tried to overload the wings. And on the left hand side, you can see Mane in acres of space. This is Alonso,
Mhm.
who is his defender, who he should be defending. So they tried to overload a wing and tried to switch the game. So that was their whole thing: switch the game or go through middle. And that's how the second goal came, which just put us out of the game. We saw after that there was no coming back. Bayern just wanted to sit back and just let us have the ball and try to break their low block. So that's how game changed. We should have scored again. If we would have scored in the first half, maybe one or two goals, definitely it would have been a different game. But not everything was negative. Very well, like impressed. by how Xavi was brave enough to go to a Bayern side to press high and to take the
Yeah,
risk. So
definitely.
yeah, so overall very happy. But these are the minute things which we have been lacking for quite a while, like the finishing being a mentality point of thing. So I hope Xavi improves on that aspect as well.
Yeah. So I think Gavi and Pedri were almost everywhere in the first half, and they were winning balls so easy. I was so surprised that Bayern couldn't play through that press, and even someone like Neuer, who is comfortable with the ball, was struggling. He was kicking the ball out.
Yes.
He was like a Dahia at some point in time.
Yes.
So I was so surprised the way Barcelona won the ball at very crucial and very dangerous positions, and they would be kicking themselves for not winning the match in the first half itself, I'm sure. And speaking of Bayern, also, I think in the first half, the only problem that Barcelona faced was through Davis, who got the better of Rafinha throughout the first half, and like his pace was blinding, and you couldn't deal with him. That was the only outlet that they had. And in the second half, they completely destroyed Barcelona with their um, speed and skills. Yeah. So yeah, that is the Bayern versus Barca match. Let's move on to another very interesting topic right now, which is Chelsea under Potter. So we have all been surprised for the fact that Tuchel got sacked, and someone like a Potter who is used to managing somewhat of a relegation side 2 3 years ago, and
Yes.
he has been under the spotlight in the Premier League this season because of how well he has coached the team in the last 2 years, and how Brighton has gone toe to toe with even the top six sides or the top four sides. Even they thrashed United, and they are known for playing really fluid football. And Potter is especially known for his tactics, his flexibility as well. And right now, I saw an interview in which he was telling the interviewer that he has a master's in emotional intelligence. so so that is something that shows in the style of play he has and how he gets players to perform more than what their caliber is. So so he is a coach who would get the best out of the players, and that is exactly what Chelsea side, which is underperforming, needs. If you check the Chelsea lineup, you would see Havertz and Aubameyang and Sterling. And then if you look at the bench, you'll see someone like a Pulisic and also CH as well. So these players are not prolific goal scorers, or they are not in the form of their life right now. And this is exactly what Potter would be trying to exploit, because there is a lot of room for improvement from the side, from the players up front. So this is an issue which Tuchel also had. He built a solid back three, and the defensive unit was really strong. But moving forward, he couldn't get more goals. Even with Lukaku, also he struggled. So that is a issue that that Potter will also be facing, because what Potter is doing is not completely revamping or restructuring or completely eliminating what Tuchel did. He's trying to build on what Tuchel has done, because they are both coaches who work on a 3-4-3 system, and Potter is a very flexible and a very intelligent person as well. So he believes in something like empathy, responsibility, motivation, and building relationship in a team. Maybe that is what the Chelsea management wanted. A change from what the Ibrahimovic era had, to creating a team which will be stable, a manager which would be stable, who would have a very good impact on players, and he would stay there for a long project kind of target, which is not what we have seen in Chelsea in the past. So that is the only explanation for me why they took in Potter. And they clearly said that this is a regime change, and they want someone who aligns with their philosophy as well. Yeah. So this is how
Yeah.
Chelsea. You want to add something?
Yeah. So also one more point, they also wanted someone who works with their youth, basically.
Yeah.
So Tuchel wasn't a very big fan of working with youth players, and we saw not many youth players coming through the ranks. Most of them were on loans. So this is also what I read. Todd Bowley also wanted to focus on its youth players. So who else than Potter, who knows how to work well with such youth players? Yeah. So let's go
Yeah.
on to the tactical part.
Yeah. So this is how they lined up for the match against Salzburg. It was a 3-4-3 with a diamond in midfield. And initially, also, we said that Potter would use Cucurella as a third center back and someone in the form of Silva Colobelli would lose their position most of the time when Cucurella comes in as a third center back. And this is exactly what we have seen. And Cucurella, Silva, and Aspilicueta are the three centre backs, with James and Sterling playing as wing backs. But this is not a conventional wing back system where Sterling is a winger when it comes to in the match. On paper, he looks like a wing back, but it's not like that. And this system is very flexible in terms that if James drops in, it will be a back four, so they have that flexibility. So what Potter was trying to do is he was trying to exploit the width on the sides, and that is what he will try to do. He will create overloads on the sides, and with Jorginho as a six and two number eights in the form of Kovacic and Mount, and then with Havertz and Aubameyang pressing in tandem, that is what his plan would be. You saw that James and Mount tried to overload the right side, while Sterling tried to isolate the fullback, and Cucurella tried to overlap with him. So they have a lot of options and a lot of way to get into the opposition penalty area. But the issue here is Havertz and Aubameyang the right players for cross, or they are not clinical finishers. I don't think they are. At least Aubameyang is past his prime to be a player who is playing in the system. Like Havertz is also an issue, and you saw that Pulisic and CH were almost booed to an extent, and I think Chelsea fans have lost patience with them, and only going forward, who is going to score them goals? That is the issue that I have. But right now, the first goal that they scored is from the right side, and Sterling, the ball was from the right side by James or Mount. I don't remember exactly whom. And Sterling went into the six in the penalty area and scored the goal. So they try to exploit the width, and what cost them the goal in their penalty box was also this width, because Sterling and Cucurella were out of position. They were creating width, but Salzburg, we know, is a team which is good in counter pressing, and they won back the ball. And when you are trying to create width and you lose the ball, that is a huge issue.
Yeah.
So that width is what got them the goal, and that width is what got them to concede the goal as well. So this is something which we will have to see. Potter will. I think he's a very intelligent coach, so he would figure out how to go through it, and the players would be also, adapting to the system. So, given time, I'm sure he will be successful. Judging from what he has tried to do, instead of completely revamping everything, he has gone with the base that Tuchel has provided. And even Broha came in, right, and he was more impressive than Havertz and Aubameyang combined, even though he just played around 20-25 minutes combined. So positive signs, but Potter will have enjoyed these days with the postponement in fixtures as well. So would have Eric Ten Hag, because they would have had the time to get all the first team players and explain to them what his plans are, and like get to do drills with the whole team, which they didn't get to do in the preseason because most of the players were missing in that. Yeah. Moving forward, we have the La Liga review. Yeah, Mayur.
Yeah. So this weekend was a normal weekend. Most of all, so in fact, a good coincidence. Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico, both all three scored 4 goals and secured their wins. So nothing surprising, but as we can see in the points table, Madrid at the moment winning all 5 games and leading the table with 15 points. Barcelona in second. They drew their first game and have won their next 4 games, so they are with 13 points. And there is a surprise, Osasuna, who generally is not within this areas of the table, and we can see clearly they are here, and they have also won 4 games just like Barcelona. So a bit of interesting part. Atletico Madrid still struggling. They have got quite a few matches where Griezmann came on and scored the winners. So they might be feeling a bit lucky that Griezmann came in time and scored those goals. So they can consider themselves uh, at the seventh position, and they would try to go a bit more into the games and try to play better. So yeah, as of now, there is no surprise in La Liga. All the best teams at the top, and Atletico a bit still finding their footings after the departures.
Yeah.
So let's move
So,
on to Bundesliga.
yeah, Bundesliga, surprise, surprise, Bayern is not on top of the table. And we have FC Union Berlin, who have started the season well, and Freiburg as well in second spot. FC Barcelona has, Bayern has drawn three Bundesliga games in a row, which is very surprising. And it has all been 1-1, 2-2, such kind of games. And Dortmund is struggling in the fifth position because we would expect a Bayern Dortmund title race. But good to see, even though it's early in the season, to have some other teams as well going high up in the table. I think Dortmund lost 3-0 to Leipzig, who are also struggling. They're in the 10th spot as well. So it's kind of like very weird in
Benfica.
the Bundesliga circle right now. Let's see what happens. I'm sure Bayern will come back on top. Yeah.
Yes. So let's move on to League One. Again, at the weekend, PSG managed to get a 1-0 win, and it wasn't the most convincing of win. A 1-0 win, not the usual scoreline for PSG in League One. But yeah, they were made to struggle quite a few times, and they eventually play past with flying, not with flying colors, but yeah, pass through somehow, and they are still on the top again. With they have played 7-1-6, drawn one, and just like Marseille, who again are sitting there with 19 points. So interesting point to see. Till now, at least there is someone competing PSG for now at least. So let's see how that things work out. And again, there were not much of a again any surprising result. I The only surprising result was Monaco once again won against Olympiac Lyon, basically Olympiac Lyonnais.
Okay.
So that was the only surprising result. But yeah, apart from that, most of the teams comfortably won their games. So
All
let's move
right.
Serie A.
Yeah, Serie A also, we have Napoli on top of the table right now, followed by Atlanta, Milan, Inter, Roma, and Juventus, who we expect to be higher up. They have dropped a lot of points, and Juventus is concerned because I think they lost their last match, right? I think oh no, they drew their last match. It was a
Last match.
2-2 draw against Salernitana, and it was a cracking game. If you haven't watched that game, you should go and watch it because I think they were 2-0 down and they came back to 2-2 in the 90th minute, and they scored a winner in the 95th minute. So it was 3-2, and then I think one goal, that winning goal was ruled out because VAR thought Bonucci or someone was in a offside position, and but I thought that it wasn't offside. Like even if even though he was there, he didn't interfere with play at all. So It was very weird. Like, it's good to see that in Serie A and other leagues also, VAR fucks up. So that is one uh, good thing that I saw. But and then what happened was there was a spree of red cards. I think there were 4 or 5 red cards. Both the managers, the staff, and players got sent off, and that was a really crazy match. If you guys want to go and watch the highlights, that would be great. Yeah, so there was a red card in the 90 plus 6. There was a red card 90 plus 7. There was a red card 90 plus 9. There was a red card, and then rest for the support staff and the managers. So around 3, 4, 5 red cards in that match. Yeah, so that is it from Serie A,
Yeah.
and probably our review of last week is done, right?
Yes. So again, Syria is again as expected, turning out to be very interesting to see how it ends. Will be
In
again
fact, Serie A is more like interesting than Premier League. It looks like,
at the moment. It's
because the sides are like running toe to toe, and it will be very exciting to see the finale at the end. Yeah,
yes. So now let's move on to previews. So again, as we all are aware, last weekend's matches were postponed due to Queen Elizabeth's passing away. So again, Premier League is back this week, and unfortunately, there won't be all 10 games, just 7 games.
yeah.
So again, any matches to watch out for? Host anything you want to look out for FPL wise or just Premier League
FPL
wise?
wise, everyone is talking about the Spurs Leicester game, and people are planning to wildcard as well to get Kane in instead of Salah. I think Kane has a good record against Leicester as well, I think. So it's fun to watch, and I think if you want to target, then you should go for Spurs players, and also West Ham. Bowen is also someone whom people are talking about, and Madison also. But I'm not sure about these kind of players who haven't shown the form. They have the fixtures going forward, but I don't think they have the form with them to to for us to consider
Justify.
them in, yeah, right now. And in terms of people wildcarding, I wouldn't go there right now, because wouldn't go wildcarding into a blank game week. If it was a full game, I've been talking about wildcards to get Liverpool players out from like game week 6 or 5. And we had a chat about Salah as well, and that is what is happening right now. People are shipping him out, and so I wouldn't go there right now because of the black game weeks we have, and also because Chelsea and Brighton, two teams which are very unknown right now for us. So I'll wait and see, and also because everyone is shipping out Salah, I'm not very confident in shipping him out right now. But the performance are not great. But Jota coming back is a good thing for them as well, because a lot of focus shifts from someone like a Salah to Jota, and that is when Salah gets into the um, penalty box unnoticed, and he'll start scoring. We know he has it in him to score clinically, so that is something to watch out for. And Brentford Arsenal matches will be a fun match as usual, because Tony is in form and is coming out of a hat trick right now, and people are shipping out Jesus and going for Martinelli and Saka. I started with those two, and I was thinking, should I go for Jesus? And now the tables have turned. People are going for Saka and Martinelli. And Arsenal's fixtures are not great, I think, moving forward as
Yes.
well.
After this, they have the
City,
North London derby as well.
yeah, City versus Wolves is also another game, but you don't quite know who is going to get rested, because everyone has Haaland. If you want to, go for De Bruyne, will he get the full 90 minutes? I don't think he will get 90 minutes, but will he even start? That is a question that we'll have to see. And yeah, anything you want to add?
So whatever just host mentioned, I have exactly done the opposite of thing. He mentioned go for Kane. I have no Spurs in my team. He mentioned don't sell Jesus. I have exactly sold Jesus, and I've sold Ramsdale. He said don't go for punty players like Madison. I have gone for Madison. He said don't go for KDB. We are not sure about the minutes. I have KDB as my Salah replacement in my team.
Oh my
And he
god.
said don't use the wild card. And just to actually answer it, I am on my wild card.
Oh
So
shit.
everything which Hose has mentioned now, I have done exactly opposite of it. And after listening to us, I'm not sure about how things will pan
No, no,
out. But yeah,
you should tell your point of view as well, because I am on. If you go, when we go to our team, I'll show you that I just need one more player to have my 11 in for this game week. So it would be Salah to De Bruyne if I want all 11 players playing. Yeah. So what is your take on whatever you have done so far?
so I was in a similar situation. I had a free transfer and a -4 would have given me the 11 players which I wanted to. Not even a bench. On my bench, there would have been like maybe a James and uh, Dunk, and Neto was the 11th player, so 12th player. So there was no case for me to do a wild card. My original plan was always to wild card in game week 9. So I made two wild card drafts, game week 8 and game week 9, and I saw there wasn't much difference in those both the things. Obviously, the biggest difference is the time which we get. That is the 2 week period, because there won't be any matches in the next week. There will be an international break. So that is the only negative side which I feel at the moment, which I don't have with me, is you don't have that time. You don't have that time to get players rise and then use that money somehow. So moving on to, as you said about Jesus, again he's owned around 75-80%, and going against him is definitely not the right play to do. But again, I am going on to the fact that I'm playing Isaac instead of him. So I think
Okay.
Newcastle have the potential of scoring at least 12 goals in the next 3 games. So I'm betting that against maybe an Arsenal scoring 4 or 5 goals against a tough opposition, right? So that is what I'm betting against in form of Jesus versus Isaac. In For the Spurs game, again, I'm not very sure how they react. Not very keen about how Son was my initial differential, but against after seeing those performance, I'm not very keen on him. Maybe the most I can go for is Kulusevski at this moment. If I see many people saying Kulusevski might start or not, so that is the only attacker which I'm considering. Why not Kane? Because again, if I have Kane and if I want Salah again for the next week, that is game week 9, I have to make 2 weeks, and that's like booking. Two transfers, and that's like booking a -4 and a free transfer already to get Salah back in. Right. So that's why That's the whole only reason why I'm going for a KDB, because that gives me an option. If I want Salah next week, I can directly switch it to it. I am keeping the million in the banks, which will help me to get that move done. And then talking about West Ham again, even I am not convinced on West Ham. As you said, Bowen is a good option. Paketa is a good option. Paketa is that's how we call him,
I
I guess,
think so.
at 6 million.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he was a good player at Lyon, but he's not yet proven in the Premier League. So those are the 2 3 options which you can keep at. And then Leicester, Madison. Madison has been very good, not very good, but he has been the main person from Leicester attack who has
That.
been always been in the box, right? He has not played. His position is still unknown. He has played as 10. He has played as right winger. He has played on in like just behind a striker. So there is not a constant position as of now. But yes, I'm taking that blind jump. The 90 minutes, Leicester not playing in any European games. That is what I'm focusing on. Players
Okay.
to teams to, like players to get from teams who don't have midweek fixtures, so I can like take a blind guess on their minutes and use that in my favor maybe. So that is the only whole thinking process. The downside, as I mentioned, is the time which I don't have of the data of this for the 2 weeks. But apart from that, maybe a Chelsea. I'm not sure. Chelsea is not playing this weekend, so we can't get any more information from that. So I thought that was the trigger point of just saying, okay, we are not getting much more information from those teams which we want to. So might as well just go and do the wild card 3 4 days earlier than used, like as it was
Okay.
planned.
So last season has shown us that there is no point in holding the wild card for long, because I wildcarded very late, and it wasn't a great wild card as well. And people who wildcarded around the 6, 7, 8 really profited in that time. I think so. This year, it's not. It's, you have heard what Mayur and I had, two completely different viewpoints, but both have valid points to think in that way. So it's only time will tell who is right. And like, let's see our teams as well. Yeah, so this is me without a hit right now. I took a hit last week and kept my team ready because I wouldn't have time. And then the queen passed away, and we got to know that fixtures are, postponed. So this is my team. I've gotten Ward instead of Sanchez, who's not playing. And Trippier was someone I brought in last game week, I think. Cancelo, Saliba, and Nico Williams. And I had to play Andreas. Martinelli, Saka will be there for sure. And Mitrovic is also an addition that I brought in this week. And Haaland cap as usual. If someone doesn't play, that is an issue. And two Arsenal players, three Arsenal players, in fact, and I'll be banking on them to give me points. And Salah to De Bruyne is the easy way out, but I will do something about it. I guess it has to be a hit. Why not? If I'm wildcarding in the next game week, why not go for a Son as a punt? Even though he has not performed, these kind of games are the ones in which he can kick off. Right? We know that in some games he can turn up and score 3 goals or 4 goals. He can destroy you just like that. Son is someone that no one would have. De Bruyne, I'm not sure if he'll play the bulk of the minutes. So why not go for a Son? You are not losing anything if you are wildcarding in the next week as well. So that is something that I thought about, but I'll need some more time to think about it. So yeah, so this is your wildcard team. Please take us through what you thought.
Yeah, so this is the so there are three main areas of concern, that is the Fofana spot, Zaha spot, and the Madison spot. Rest of it,
Yeah.
mostly I am very convinced on. That is the same team I will be going with. As I said, in the defense, James is a no-brainer. I think he will be playing as right
Mm.
wing back. We saw yesterday,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
no point giving not keeping him. Neko Williams again, not from the best defense, but yeah, attacking returns has kept him ticking along. Cancelo again, no reason to not go for him. And Trippier, who has a good run of fixture and has delivered points as well. So that ends my defense. In midfield, Martinelli, no doubt. At the moment, the price range and the output is offering, can't ignore. De Bruyne is a punt, not punt, pick instead of Salah, and Andres, the normal one. Isaac, as mentioned in the previous slide, why I'm going for it. I think Newcastle will score a lot of goals, and Isaac might be in them. Mitrovic, again, no reason not to go, a no-brainer, and Haaland is a no-brainer as well. So now the three spots, as I mentioned, I'm still thinking on is Madison, Zaha, and Fofana. Might as well just go with Bowen, Kulusevski in that place. But I think Zaha is
Explosive
fixed,
more.
more explosive, has good run of fixtures, and more fixed in my mind than Madison at the moment. Madison is the more of the player who I might try to look out for. And after yesterday's fixtures, Kukurea playing as the left center back, so has got me thinking about Fofana actually. So how do you fill that spot? Do you go 4 million like a Patterson, or maybe I have still 1 million in my bank, so maybe go a 4.5, 4.6 for a dunk or some kind of that player. So I'm not sure about that third spot after yesterday's result. But yeah, we still have a full day tomorrow. I will be thinking about it and how things go. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So
see.
for me, usually when you see a wild card, you'll see, oh shit, I am missing out on so many players. But looking at this, what am I missing out on? Saha, Madison, Isaac. You know, that doesn't like. So any other season, I'm sure you wouldn't go for Saha, Madison together. And you already have an Andreas, Mitrovic, Isaac, like five players there who are like dicey. and like who are a streak kind of players. Like they go on streak and then they don't perform. And combining Saka and Madison, even Saha and Madison, even though they have good fixes on the side, it's a very different tactics which we wouldn't usually deploy in the past seasons as well. Yeah. So that is something that I notice in a lot of wildcard teams,
Yeah.
and that
Looks
is
like
why I'm.
yeah, most of the
Yeah.
managers are going for the fixed 90-minute players rather than maybe
Mm.
those players who might rotate. So that is the whole thing about me thinking and going for this. Even in any other season, I also wouldn't do this kind of.
Yeah,
I also would laugh
exactly.
at this team. What are you doing, Mayur? You are not playing the usual
Yeah.
way. But this
Yeah.
season has its own challenges, and this is the first time where there is so much crunched games. We saw COVID, we saw everything, but since not even then there was such a crunched fixture schedule, and this time it has been a bit different, so just trying it out. Hopefully it works out. If
Yeah,
not, then
either it works out very well, or it
it
is going
doesn't.
to be a very bad flop. There is nothing in between
In
for
between,
this team.
no
So
safe
no safe bets on
safe
this.
side, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it for this video. So before we end, those who have not joined us, our league, the league code is mentioned on the screen, and there is a auto join link in our description box as well. So if you are interested to play with us, you can join the league. Yes. So
All right.
that's it. I hope that's it for this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the next week there is an transfer like international break, so hopefully we'll do a overview of how transfer window went for all the Premier League teams. So we are thinking content that in that week as well, so we won't be taking off this the upcoming week. So hopefully you still connect with us back, and yeah, and that's it for this video. Follow us on all our social pages. All the links are in the description below. Yeah. So follow us. Yes,
All
and
right.
that's it for today. Bye.
Bye.